What's going on, guys? This is Mitch with SC Weather. Hope y'all been having a good start to your week. Looks like we have a very active weather day tomorrow, as a chance of significant flooding is definitely high. The two main causes of that is what's left over of Ada that'll be crossing near the coast, and for the western Carolinas, a big issue looks to be with this front that has kind of slowed down. Will eventually move through our area and will help to knock Ada on out of here. But we will be dealing with some extremely humid and rainy and heavy rain tomorrow in spots. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get deep in this video, if you guys haven't subscribed, very much appreciate if y'all do. Weather has been slow, so growth has been slow. But YouTube has definitely been an awesome way to express my passion and just talk weather with you guys in a more personal level and be able to get more detailed with it here in South Carolina. So much appreciated if y'all hit that subscribe button. But let's get deep into it. So we have Ada, which we're getting in tomorrow. What's left of Ada will weaken into a depression, and with it will bring a whole slew of moisture here. You got the front coming through here, which you're getting a big flow of moisture coming up, and then you're getting a steady flow of moisture also, which has been aided by Ada here, and it moves in, and the eastern Carolinas from Ada really gets a surge of moisture that can really bring some big time flooding here. You check out, let me see if I can get it here. I guess I can't. But anyways, I don't think it's really any point to really see the cone of uncertainty from the National Hurricane Center anyways, because it really looks like this thing's just going to weaken to a depression to move out into the eastern side of Florida and turn to a depression. Not really a huge threat. The big threat is just the added moisture it's going to cause. And here it is. This is the excessive rainfall outlook. So you see marginal and you're thinking, hey, marginal threat's not a big deal, but it is, because a lot of times in this marginal area for excessive rainfall, which means it's a 5 to 10% chance, according to the WPC Day 1 National Weather Service here, of a chance of flooding. You get into the yellow area, 10 to 20% chance, which is a slight risk. In that yellow area, you're going to see flooding. It's pretty much a guarantee. Some heavy rain is going to develop tomorrow. Here's a cone of uncertainty here, but we pretty much are certain that it's going to make landfall. It's probably a storm here in Florida. It's going to move on out, but it's right in here where it's going to throw moisture into the coastal areas of the Carolinas and continue to be a big moisture feeder here in South Carolina. Flash flood watches are in effect. This is definitely going to be a big-time event for rainfall. Flash flood watches are pretty much in effect for most of the state, the Midlands of South Carolina, the upstate of South Carolina, and pretty much almost the entire state of North Carolina. And obviously the PD and the Myrtle Beach area flash flood watches are ongoing here. This is what I really want to show you guys is the NAM. And the NAM and the Triple R model have really came together here. We're getting into tomorrow morning. This is around the 6 a.m. range. And check out this slug of moisture right here. This is heavy rain. And this is really associated with the front. But it is getting reinforced by the moisture really riding up from Ada down here. But, it kind of stalls out here and it causes training. This is some very heavy rain here. And it finally starts to move, but here comes Ada. Ada is going to just kind of reinforce the moisture down here near the coast, and it just gets nasty down here. From the entire state really just looks at risk for some very heavy rain. And this is some big time rain, and it gets on and moves on out of here. We got some lingering. So this is for the most of the day tomorrow. As some heavy rain that's going to really start to develop early to mid morning and really just move through the state all the way in through tomorrow evening. And so this is rainfall from the NAM, that same model we were just looking at through Friday morning. That is showing up to half a foot of rain. 6 to as much as 10 inches of rain here in the northern Midlands. I don't think that's going to come true, but I really think some isolated areas could certainly get over 6 inches of rain. That is a lot of rain. That could definitely cause some major issues. We get into the Triple R model. And it kind of shows the same thing. It only goes 18 hours out, but it starts to get into the 6 a.m. range, and you had that same area of heavy rain developing just northwest and west of and even south of Columbia. It just trains right over Columbia. I'm looking for almost the Midlands, Central Midlands, to be in a hot spot for the heaviest rain. I'm not sure, but it only goes out this far. It goes out to about 2. This is about noon tomorrow, and you can already see the heaviest rain starting to pivot and move east into the eastern Carolinas, and that's when a dangerous situation can unfold there for potential heavy rain. Like I said, this only goes 18 hours out, but just all the way through noon tomorrow, as much as 4 or 5 inches of rain here in the Midlands and the upstate and the PD area is already fallen according to the Triple R model. So that is significant. The event's not even over. Here's a closer look at the NAM. And we're getting into, this is about midnight. You start to get more moisture that really wraps in. This is heavy rain. Heavy rain's falling here. And we're getting into, and this is a close-up of the NAM, and we're getting into the 6 a.m. range tomorrow, and here it comes. Just that heavy, heavy rain. That is dumping, and you've got such a tropical air mass in place. Any little shower is going to dump as much as a ½ inch to 1 inch of rain. And really the heavy stuff begins to move into the Midlands and move on out here into early afternoon. It starts to pivot to the eastern areas of the state, and the reinforcement from Ada really begins to aid more moisture down there for the coastal areas. Just a washout tomorrow for most of the state. And here it is. What you got is you got high pressure out here, and you got Ada right here, and you got a front coming, and it's just bringing a moist flow. And so that's why you have such high humidity. You know, the values there, the water values over here are exceeding over 2 inches. And when that happens, you basically get torrential downpours with rain. So we're getting into Thursday, just a tropical air mass in place. But check out, this is dry air, the brownish, grayish, kind of bluish colors begins to move in overnight Thursday into Friday. And we get a much more pleasant day Friday with low rain chances and just a beautiful weekend, which much more dry air moves in. But and here's the dew points. Tropical air mass again tomorrow with dew points in the 70s. Check this out. But look what looms. These are dew points, not temperatures. Dry air will begin to leak in here Friday, and we get a beautiful weekend. And it looks like the humidity maybe builds back up Sunday and Monday, but look out this big time cold front. This is some really dry air, which really signifies a pattern change here to much cooler weather next week. I'm really starting to, it really is starting to look like a nice week next week, a real fall-like entire week. It looks like we really shake off this annoying humidity. We get a nice air mass in place, and I'll show that right here. High temperatures tomorrow, 70s probably statewide, but it's not going to be a nice 70s. It's going to be an extremely humid 70s, just like today. We get into Friday. It's warm, kind of like temperature-wise like it'll be tomorrow. But the thing is you're getting drier air working in, so it's not going to feel near as bad as the dew points are beginning to lower. Friday night, a nice night in the 50s, but look at Saturday, only highs in the 60s, and then we get into next week, highs rebound pretty good Sunday, but the reinforcing cold front moves through. And these are highs Monday in the low 60s with extremely dry air in place. And look at the cold air highs, lows in the 30s and 40s for Tuesday morning. And a chilly day. Just looks like a fall. It looks like a November kind of week where highs are in the 50s to 60s and lows in the 40s and 30s. That's the kind of weather we normally expect here in mid-November here in South Carolina. So we're going to watch a potential for some a freeze too, mid to late week next week. But that's getting pretty far out. But it's really starting to look like we get some kind of pattern change after this potential dangerous flooding situation that may develop tomorrow. But that's all I got, guys. I appreciate y'all tuning in, and y'all have a good and safe night.